Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. This video is about giving you a sort of brief timeline so you can understand how we got to this point. How do we get to the point where I'm trying to reason with them and then they do things in a certain way that really causes things to heat up because they don't want people to kind of discuss things with me. They don't want people to solve the problems that they're faced with. They want them and their offspring to suffer. They want every nation to suffer. My priority isn't to make your lives easy. My priority is justice. Before there can be any love, there has to be justice. And that's why no matter what, after my flesh dies, people will be cut off from God. No one should reproduce no matter what. If they obeyed God through me in a timely fashion before my flesh dies, and they continue to do what's right, then they can go to heaven. But no one should have children no matter what. Now let's look at the timeline here. So when I was 16 years old, a lot of important things happened, right? Back in around 1997, 1998. I had my heart broken. I went to camp and carved a broken heart. I went to reform school, carved a broken heart in my forearm under my wrist, the back part of my forearm. I won a martial arts tournament, became a grand champion. Okay. And around that time, within a year or so, I was stabbed, what have you. And because of my martial art prowess, I prevailed in that conflict with a person with a knife. And I ended up chasing him away. Now, fast forward to 2004. I forgot I made that song around that time when I was around 16 years old, where I said things like they want a ball and ignore the deeper call, right? That their mind frame is creating misplaced game, defining me as somebody who was very wise at an early age, right? And giving you that point of reference when I was 16. So fast forward to about 2004, I make a song with a female from England, and I tell her to use certain lyrics when she sings, and she says, "You're the kind of," at the time I identified as a gang member. I don't anymore. I haven't identified as a gang member since 2015. But she says, "You're the type of Crip that I like, the type of fellow I would call mine." She says that she'll be there forever holding me, and that she would ride or die for me, what have you. So I'm kind of showing that romance is very important to me, just like I did when I was 16. So you have that situation 2004, I'm 22 or 23 or so. It's not long before I met my ex-fiance. That female from England's gone. Here comes the female from Greece. Now in 2009, I start my first official video about ancient Egyptian wisdom being collected by ancient social clubs, secret societies, groups, government groups, cults, what have you. 2012, I make one of my best songs. They've messed up all my songs. So at this point, I was doing pretty well, right? It was around 2012 or so that my videos start changing a lot, because I started trying to grow marijuana in my room back in California. I don't smoke marijuana anymore. I haven't smoked in a long time. And as I was doing so, I put some stuff in the background to block the grow light, what have you. It became a mess, and I made a conscious decision even before that no matter how bad I look in the videos, the information's too important. So a lot of videos I did look bad, but they changed the sound quality, and I have proof of that the BBC has admitted that YouTube has changed videos behind the user's backs using artificial intelligence. And when you look at why they're doing that, it has to do with social engineering. It has to do with them trying to play out people, especially me, because I show everyone up and by far. So in 2012, there were certain martial art demonstrations that occurred that they've covertly changed. It was a temple song. There was my first major sort of martial art challenge to a lot of people in May 2012. The next year in 2013, okay, now this whole time the government's harassing me, they're setting me up, they're trying to detain me, they're trying to get me on psych meds, they're doing every dirty trick in the book, and they've edited my videos to try to feed into the idea that there's something wrong with me. But I'm sure you can tell by the way I'm describing this, and it's not the first time I've given you the timeline, that there's nothing wrong with me. If you were to see the videos of the songs in their pure form, you see that there's nothing wrong with me. I was covertly drugged. They were using various technologies on me. But with everything considered, my videos came off as far more sane than any video on the internet. People came off as shallow, and they're missing the point. Life is very serious. It takes a deep person to understand it. When you come off as shallow, you come off as crazy. Right? Think about Shaggy in Scooby-Doo or Fred. They're so shallow to some degree they're like crazy. Life is too serious to waste your life being a Fred type person, Shaggy, what have you. So we get to 2013, December 20th, my Top Martial Arts Challenge officially begins. My Top Martial Arts Challenge, everybody. Now, we'll start off with just for California, but I extended it quickly to everybody. Now, in 2016, I'm striking at world record speed. In 2015, I made a series called Men of Honor. So there was a series where I emphasized the principles of martial arts, honor, righteousness, what have you. And it was that same year I stopped identifying as a gang member. In 2016, I'm striking at world record speed. That was very significant. That has to do with Revelation 19. It's a story for another day. I'm just trying to give you a brief timeline here to help you understand what's happened here and how the people persecuting me are crazy. Right? They're narcissists. 1 in 5 CEOs are said to be psychopaths. They're sociopaths. They're Epstein types. They're Weinstein types. They're corrupt politicians. They're greedy lunatics. They're mass murdering people, making a mass murder, making a killing in business, right? And otherwise, using the economy to kill people, trying to get people on their knees and control their reproduction. They tell people to say things like it's not how it works. They have a massive managerial class and poor assets as well, helping them out and so on and so forth. Okay, so around 2018 or 19, I really zoom in on the Bible, and I start making a lot of videos about the Bible. It carries on all the way to now, and I'm still making a lot of videos. I went through whole books in the Bible. Okay, went through Hosea, went through Proverbs several times. I went to Santa Cruz at one point. I think it was like in 2024 to the beginning of 25, and I went through the whole book of Proverbs during my trips. I rented a car, kept going there, and I kept making videos about chapters of the book of Proverbs until I went through the whole book, outside, wind blowing, what have you. Masterfully explained it. Okay, on the fly, as they say. And so we in 2021, I passed out a bunch of cards, and I went out of my way, putting cards on the window wipers and so on and so forth. And I'm putting them on various places, taping them on, poles and certain, those little like boards they have like in colleges. There was one at a park in Morgan Hill. And I predicted that my card tactic wouldn't work, that females wouldn't, no attractive female would submit to me. I predicted that the government wouldn't compensate me, even though I have 23 witnesses on record, and it has not worked in their favor in the slightest. So when we look at the timeline, going back to when I was born, right, there's no evidence that what they're doing is smart. It was dumb. They were targeting me when I was younger. We look at when I was 16. Did me going to reform school and all that help them? No, they look very stupid, very embarrassed, and those are notches under my belt. 2009. It's going to be 2004 when I made that song. Them trying to keep me from having my identity, so I was identifying as a gang member. You can still tell I was more righteous than everyone else. I'm far more righteous than the police, the government, the churches, mosques, synagogues, you name it. Far more righteous. Or they're being racist scum, they're being petty, greedy scum, looking like, they look like Lex Luthor, the Penguin, Dr. Doom, Magneto, Prince Humperdinck, Doc Ock, what have you. 2012, when they're scrambling to make me look bad, right? I allowed myself to look scruffy and dotted and all this, that, and the other thing to get important information out. Far more righteous than Luke Skywalker in the movies is presented as, Star Wars. Christ carrying his cross, right? John the Baptist not dressed in fancy clothes. Okay, why? They're rich oppressor scum and their managerial allies and poor assets, what have you. I mean, we look at the timeline, they're crazy, they're wasting their life, I'm moving masterfully, while attractive females are shunning me, which means attractive females owe me, and they should hate them with all their hearts, and they should scramble to obey God through me. And when they don't make that call, it's clear that they're dumb, and they're getting dumber as time goes on. There's a reason why Clueless looks like the characters in Dumb and Dumber, right? Because it's stupid to be the typical female. She's clueless, she dates the wrong guy, and the righteous man, and no one else is righteous but me, mind you, the righteous man needs to control the female in his relationship, right? If I meet halfway with some dumb female, what happens? I waste my time, she's wasting her time, she's too dumb to know any better. But if she submits to me, then I can forge her. I can bring the Spirit of God into her and make her better. I can improve her judgment. I'm the top martial artist ever. She's just another attractive female who is smart enough to date me. Okay? And I haven't had a date in 8 years, mind you. You see the government trying to bring me down, trying to get me to follow unattractive females the whole time, trying to get me to be abused by attractive females who are feminists at times, just here and there, just a little taste. Okay? Gays harassing me. They look so dumb. Their sexual spirit is very disgusting. It's worse than the most filthy sewer. Very sickening. They were played out far worse than Epstein. When Epstein got played out, did I get played out? No, they got played out. The association. When the economy crashed, did I get played out? Or did it? No, they got played out. The terrorists failed. They got played out. The cost of living, right? They got played out again and again and again. So people are looking at this, the government, mental health, the governing class, they're scum who failed. There's mental health people as far as the eye can see. Why did they scramble to say things like they need to fix the economy because it causes mental health issues in a way that's effective and sharp and respectable? Why they come off like some hippies or some corporate shills? You know, they're like psychopaths at times who just work for a corporation, some kind of, fancy dress pharmaceutical dog, or there's some kind of airhead hippie. They're not people who know how to effectively address the problem. Neither is the military or the police or the government, okay? The persecutors have failed miserably. Their ways and paths are failed. I've borne more fruit than the rest of the planet put together. And there's, in some groups of people, there's like over 1 billion people, like Catholics and Muslims and Christians, okay? Hindus and Buddhists. What are they doing? They're just following the crowd. So when it comes to sense and wisdom and insight and morals, it's clear that I should lead. The timeline shows us definitively that even in my videos where they try to make me look the most crazy, I'm talking sense, and they're on the side of mere presentation and trying to seem superior using a colonial scale on top of that, looking like a Boy Scout, on cocaine or something that never grew up and lost their mind. Just an idiot.